Today we're going to look at the renovation of one of the biggest and oldest rooms in the chateau. It's a room that used to be the old chateau kitchens. In the late 1800s, this big old kitchen was changed with the addition of a smaller room built inside it. It looked pretty stupid, it didn't really fit, so we're going to take it back to how it originally was and make it into our banqueting hall. The first job that we had to do was strip off all of the old render from the walls to take it back to the original stonework. We would then be able to see if any repairs were needed, and also we could cut the electrical wiring into this stonework and then conceal it again. I really hope you will enjoy watching this renovation. It took a long time, took a great deal of work, but at the end of it, I think you'll see it really was an amazing transformation. When the stone walls had all been cleaned and repaired, it was then time to repoint them. We repoint them with a mix of sand and lime, a traditional method. It's quite a slow process, but the finished result really transforms these walls. Funny to think that these walls are at least 600, possibly 800 years old. See what a difference the repointing makes. Already the room is looking so much better. Next step is to get rid of that silly little room that was added 130 years ago. And the first thing that we need to do is dismantle the old chimney stack. So now it's time for a bit of manual labour up in the attic. We have a plan for all of the bricks that we're taking out of this chimney. We're going to use them to build a bridge over one of the drainage ditches. Recycling at its best.
Difference in here, I suppose.
As we dismantle this old chimney, I can't help but think of the guys that put it up about 130 years ago. Just one of the memories and the ghosts that live in this chateau. Now we're all done up here. The bricks are all neatly stacked and ready to go. Time for us to go back downstairs and set about taking those walls down. I cannot tell you just how much I was looking forward to removing that room and opening everything up again. Now we're getting somewhere. You can really see the room starting to open up again. The demolition work is relatively easy. The main problem with it is all the rubbish that we create, which we have to cart out of the chateau, put into trailers, and then take down to the recycling centre. That's the bit that takes a lot of time. This little room within a room was apparently used as an office by the matriarch of the house. I know that it was built in the late 1800s, early 1900s, because I have some postcards from that era, one of which shows a chimney coming out of the roof and another one without a chimney. So I can date the creation of this room to that period. I suspect that it probably took a week or two to build this little room, and we're getting rid of it in just a couple of days. In one way, I am sad to be removing part of the history of the chateau. However, I really believe that this room is going to look much better for it. You can see what I mean about the rubbish. Just taking down a couple of quite small walls creates so much rubbish, and we still have the rest of the chimney stack to take down. Oops, that was a little bit close. Apart from the chimney stack, we only have to take down the wall above this lintel now. The strange thing about this part of the wall was that it was made of stone. All of the other walls were made from bricks. Perhaps they just ran out of bricks. Stone is actually good for us. We don't throw it away, we keep it, because we always need stone for repairing and building walls. We really have created quite a mess here. Just look at all this dust and stone that we have to clear up. But at least the walls are all down now. And now it is finally time to take away the chimney stack. Then we will be able to see just how good this room looks opened up again. So stage one is completed. The walls and the chimney are all removed. A bit of a clear up, and then it's time to get on with the rest of the room. I think that looks a whole lot better. Now we need to get on and finish the walls. The back wall, including the part above the fireplace, are going to be replastered and painted. We intend to keep some of the stone from around the old fireplace and around an old closed-off doorway. These will be revealed and just plastered around. The fireplace that we see here is not the original one. It's quite a modern addition. The original fireplace would have been much bigger. There are still some stones set into the wall, which I suspect are part of this original fireplace. To the left of the fireplace is the opening that would have been for the bread oven. Many centuries ago, this would have been a very busy room, with a cooking and a fire always going, and quite likely people even sleeping here on the floor. Mark is now applying a rough render above the fireplace to hold all of the stone and bricks in place, and then we will plaster over this with a nice smooth finish. Eventually, I think we'll put a coat of arms above this fireplace. Perhaps have it painted onto a big metal shield and hang a couple of swords beside it. I think that would be a great feature. We can now finish off the pointing on the side wall. You will see above the double doors there is something that looks like a beam. It is actually a steel joist that supports the wall above the double doors. These doors were added in the middle 1700s. Originally, there was a single door to the left of these double doors, but that was closed off many years ago. We want to hide the RSJ above the double doors, and we're going to put stone to disguise it. What we are doing to achieve this effect is cutting up some stones so that they're quite thin and then sticking them to the inside of the RSJ with something called MAP, which is an extremely strong adhesive. We can then point between the stones and you shouldn't notice a difference. In the 1700s, it was a fashion to put in these double doors in the middle of each room. When they were then opened, you could look all the way down the full length of the building. This old kitchen has seen so many changes over the centuries, so much so that it became quite a mix of different styles. We are trying to put it back to roughly how it would have looked in about the 1500s. So now we are nearly there. The last couple of stones are going in, and then we can get it pointed and see how it looks. Not bad at all, I think. So now it is time to get the final coats of plaster onto the back wall. The small alcove that you can see to the left of the window is actually the remains of a very old door. The little door was taken out and replaced with a large window. On the outside of this wall, we can still clearly see the outline of the old door. You can see that we are keeping many of the old blocks and shaping the plaster around them. It is something that we have done elsewhere in the chateau, and I think it works really well. I'm sure that these blocks here are remnants of the very old, large fireplace that was once here. They say that the devil is in the detail, and I think by taking our time and care over this work, we are going to achieve some really outstanding results. Something that we hope will look really special. With these renovations, it has always been our aim not just to chuck a lick of paint over everything, but to actually do everything totally properly, to protect and preserve the chateau for the future. Anything that we do, we hope, will last many, many, many years. Sadly, previous owners of the chateau have not treated it with the care and attention that it deserved, and we are having to spend a lot of money and take a lot of time to fix all of the problems that have been caused in the past. But it will be really worth it in the end. Wherever possible, we are trying to retain the history of the chateau too, which is why we're making this old doorway into a little alcove instead of just leaving it covered up. I am so pleased how this room is coming together. I think it looks fabulous already. Now let's turn our attention to the fireplace itself. The actual hearth is in very poor condition, and we need to fix this now. First we will remove all of the old broken bits, and then we will fill it in and repair it with cement mixed with stone dust, which will hopefully dry to a pretty similar colour to the existing stone. We put a reinforcing bar into the hearth to strengthen it and hopefully stop it from cracking. This will also help hold the fire back, which is extremely heavy. When we do this sort of renovation work, my mind starts thinking about 100 years' time. Maybe someone else then will be redoing our work because it's worn out. I wonder just how many people over the centuries have sat and warmed themselves and cooked on this fire. Crazy. I guess it would have a few stories to tell. At the moment, the cement looks quite dark, but it will dry a lot lighter. We have some really nice fire dogs and copper pots that we will dress the fireplace with. I'm really looking forward to see this. It should be a real feature of the room. When you come in through the big oak door, it's the first thing that you see in front of you. All done, so now it's time to dress it up a little bit. That looks really great. Pleased with that. So looking forward to getting a fire lit in this now. Now we must start taking down the plaster ceiling. This is all that remains of the little room. There's there's a ceiling rose in it that we want to keep. It's Art Nouveau, and it would be nice to preserve it somewhere else in the chateau.
What's this one?
Yeah,
I reckon that'll be out from 81 piece.
really?
It's just these large. It's even attached to these.
Just need to get the laths out.
You just need to get something behind it, pushing on the large. Because once that's cut away, that's the main sort of support there.
Well, that can come down, can't it?
Yeah, I'll cut everything away from it. I'll cut that out. Cut that out, and we'll try and jimmy it out very gently.
Okay. What we hoped would be quite a simple job is turning out to be a bit difficult. We don't want to break or crack this rose. Whoever put it in certainly didn't mean for it to come out. I am really hoping that this doesn't end in disaster.
Right, that's good. That's really good.
Can you get in from the other side?
Yeah.
As it started to crack, I decided I ought to stop filming and go and give Grant a hand. And then suddenly, the whole middle section of the rose just popped out. Thankfully, we caught it and preserved it. It's amazing what a transformation it makes in a short period of time.
Yeah. Like I say, you know, I'm sort of cleaning it all up as I go around the windows and everything. They're really closing up and everything.
I mean, these ones were all flaky earlier, weren't they?
Yeah. Not all of them, just patches. Basically, we clean it all back, scrape it down, rake all the cracks out, prime any loose areas that have been scraped off. Then we put the tape over the top, a first coat of filler, and then once that's dry, we come back, second coat of filler, let that dry, rub it down, and the whole area gets another primer coat, and then 2 top coats of finish. Basically, that's the process.
Now we will move on to renovating the plaster ceiling. The paint that we are using is not a brilliant modern white colour. It's an old white which should fit in with the room. Now that we have removed the old plaster ceiling, we can see the old insulation, which is basically straw and mud. We have to cover this up with new plasterboard. Over the years, you can see that the oak beams have sagged slightly. They've dropped down in the middle. So what we're going to do is lay the new plasterboard also so it looks like it's sagged. We won't lay it straight. In that way, it will look like it's been there for a long time and has sagged down with the oak beams. Clever stuff. This old ceiling is centuries old, and of course, There isn't one single part of it that's actually straight or uniform. Everything has to be cut and custom fitted. It can be a long job and painstakingly frustrating, but it has to be done or it won't look correct. It seems that I only film Grant doing this when he gets to the difficult bits. How much do you love and hate old buildings?
I know you'll be lucky so far. This is the first one. This is the first one that's really twisted.
The new plasterboard gets screwed into place, so we have to try and hit the old wooden laths. This is a bit hit and miss. So that is all the new plasterboard up. Now we have to fill it and paint it. But even in this rough state, it's looking so much better already. It's great seeing the room starting to come together. Lewis is now starting to oil and wax all of the oak beams. This really brings them back to life and they look fantastic. Here is an interesting little feature. The date of 1769 carved into the top of this post. So we know that the cracked beam had extra support added in 1769. Grant is now starting the renovation of the ancient oak door. And as you see, whenever I film him, he always has a problem. I must jinx him.
Oh, yeah.
Should we edit that bit out, shall we? Or not?
Yeah, you might want to lose that bit.
Now that Lewis has finished the beams, he's moved on to putting the undercoat onto the back wall. The back wall will be finished in a creamy yellow colour. So we can get that hopefully creamy colour on and see what it looks like. As the sun has come out, Grant is taking the opportunity to finish renovating the windows. Everything is all coming together now. The next step is the renovation of the double doors that lead into what will become the reception area. We're stripping off the old paint and going back to the original oak finish. This will then be sanded down and waxed. There is a lot of detail on these panels, so it's quite tricky work, quite involved. But the results are breathtaking. What a difference. The old double doors are then repainted. It's great being on the home run. Everything is starting to come together. Every little thing we do improves the room, and we can finally see light at the end of the tunnel. It's been quite a long tunnel with this room, but well worth it. So that's one more task completed, and it's looking really good. Now we can move on to fitting the oak blocks into the wall where the lights will be fixed. We have already run the electric cabling inside the stonework, and this cabling can now be pulled through these wooden blocks. Once again, we will use that all-purpose adhesive map to fix these wooden blocks onto the stonework. Then we can point in around the edges and leave it all neat and tidy. The wall lights in this room will all be medieval style and made of wrought iron, and the bulbs will flicker like candles.
You said about sitting them on there.
Yeah, sitting them on is fine.
We'll cut it so they sit flush.
They sit pretty flush, and we can just put a bit of pointing or stuff around it, but I mean, as long as they don't move with the map.
Oh no, plenty of it on there.
The oak for these wooden blocks has been recycled from old stair treads that we took out of the chateau. Once waxed and polished, they look really good. Lewis is now starting to apply creamy yellow top coat to the back wall. We really are on the finishing straight here now, which is a good feeling. It's been a lot of work in this room, but what results we have achieved. What can I say? I'm just so satisfied with the way that this room has turned out. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Thank you. If you have enjoyed watching this video, why not click on the subscribe button that has just appeared? Also, check out our Patreon page in the link below. On there, you will find other ways in which you can help and support us in our project. It really does mean a great deal to us that you are interested in Chateau and preserving its wonderful history. Thank you.